Hello everyone, and welcome to History of the Ancient World. Today, we're embarking on an incredible journey back in time to a land of golden sands, towering pyramids, and a river that gave birth to one of the most enduring civilizations in human history. We're heading to ancient Egypt, the gift of the Nile. Picture this, a vast, arid desert, one of the harshest environments on Earth. Yet snaking through it is a vibrant ribbon of life. A river that floods its banks each year, leaving behind rich, fertile soil. This was the Nile, and without it, the story of ancient Egypt simply wouldn't exist. This river wasn't just a source of water, it was the very heart and soul of their world. It dictated their calendar, shaped their beliefs, and provided the means for their incredible architectural and societal achievements. So, how did it all begin? Let's rewind more than 5,000 years ago. Early settlers, drawn by the life-giving waters of the Nile, began to form small agricultural communities along its banks. They learned to harness the river's annual flood, a predictable event they called the inundation. This wasn't a destructive flood, but a welcome one. As the waters receded, they left behind a thick layer of black, fertile silt. This black land, or kemet as the Egyptians called it, was so productive that it allowed them to grow surplus crops like wheat and barley. This surplus was the key. It meant not everyone had to be a farmer. People could specialize in other trades, becoming artisans, priests, scribes, and soldiers. This specialization was the foundation upon which a complex society was built. These early communities eventually coalesced into two distinct kingdoms. Upper Egypt in the south, a land of cliffs and valleys, and Lower Egypt in the north, with its sprawling, marshy delta. For a time, they existed as separate entities, each with its own ruler and customs. But around 3100 BC, a legendary figure emerged who would change the course of history forever. His name was Narmer, though some call him Menes. In a masterful stroke of political and military genius, Narmer conquered Lower Egypt and united the two lands. He established a new capital city, Memphis, right at the junction of Upper and Lower Egypt, a symbolic center for his newly unified kingdom. He created the iconic double crown, combining the white crown of the south and the red crown of the north, a powerful symbol of a united Egypt that would be worn by pharaohs for the next 3 millennia. This unification marks the beginning of the dynastic period, the era of the pharaohs. With the kingdom united and a strong central government in place, Egypt entered a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity known as the Old Kingdom. This is often called the Age of the Pyramids, and for good reason. The pharaohs of this era weren't just kings. They were considered living gods, intermediaries between the divine and the mortal. Their power was absolute. To secure their place in the afterlife and demonstrate their divine authority on earth, they commissioned the most audacious construction projects the world had ever seen, the pyramids. It all started with the step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, designed by the brilliant architect and vizier Imhotep. This was a revolutionary concept, stacking 6 mastabas, or rectangular tombs, on top of each other to create a stairway to the heavens. But this was just the beginning. A few generations later, during the 4th dynasty, Pharaoh Sneferu perfected the true pyramid form, and then his son Khufu commissioned the grandest of them all, the Great Pyramid of Giza. For nearly 4,000 years, this colossal structure was the tallest man-made building on Earth. It's an architectural marvel, built with over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons, all quarried and moved without the use of wheels or iron tools. Flanked by the pyramids of Khafre and Menkaure, and guarded by the enigmatic Great Sphinx, the Giza Plateau stands as a timeless testament to the power, resources, and incredible organization of the Old Kingdom. But no golden age lasts forever. After centuries of stability, the power of the pharaohs began to wane. The expense of building and maintaining these massive pyramids drained the royal treasury. Local governors, known as nomarchs, grew more powerful and started to challenge the central authority of the king. A period of climate change led to lower Nile floods, and widespread famine. The Old Kingdom eventually collapsed, plunging Egypt into a period of disunity and civil war known as the First Intermediate Period. It was a time of chaos where the United Kingdom fragmented back into smaller competing states. Yet the spirit of Egypt was not broken. From the city of Thebes in Upper Egypt, a new line of powerful rulers emerged, determined to restore order. Around 2055 BC, Mentuhotep reunified the country, ushering in the Middle Kingdom. This era is often seen as a classical age, a time of great cultural and artistic achievement. The pharaohs of this period were portrayed less as untouchable gods and more as wise shepherds of their people. Literature flourished, with classic tales like the story of Sinuhe being written. Trade expeditions were sent to foreign lands, bringing back exotic goods, and a series of forts were built in Nubia to the south to protect Egypt's valuable trade routes and gold mines. The Middle Kingdom was a period of introspection and revitalization, rebuilding the nation's strength from the inside out. However, stability once again gave way to turmoil. A group of foreign rulers from Western Asia, known as the Hyksos, infiltrated the Nile Delta. They brought with them advanced military technology, including the horse-drawn chariot and the powerful composite bow. Using their superior weaponry, they seized control of Lower Egypt, forcing the pharaohs to retreat back to their southern stronghold in Thebes. This marked the beginning of the Second Intermediate Period. For about a century, Egypt was once again divided, but this period of foreign rule was not a dark age. The Egyptians learned from their conquerors, adopting and mastering their military innovations. The humiliation of foreign domination ignited a fierce sense of nationalism and a desire to reclaim their land. The desire culminated in a war of liberation led by the Theban pharaohs. Amosir finally drove the Hyksos out of Egypt for good, and in doing so founded the New Kingdom. This wasn't just a restoration, it was a revolution. The pharaohs of the New Kingdom were no longer content with just defending their borders. They were warrior kings, determined to build an empire. Armed with the very chariots the Hyksos had introduced, they marched out of Egypt and forged a vast empire stretching from Nubia in the south to the Euphrates River in the north. This was Egypt's imperial age, an era of unprecedented wealth, power, and international influence. Great pharaohs defined this period. There was Hatshepsut, one of history's most powerful female rulers, who reigned as a pharaoh in her own right and oversaw a period of great peace and prosperity, marked by a famous trading expedition to the land of Punt. Then came her stepson, Thutmose III, a military genius often called the Napoleon of Egypt, who conducted numerous campaigns and expanded the empire to its greatest extent. And of course there was Rameses Seku, or Rameses the Great, a master of propaganda and a prolific builder who ruled for an incredible 67 years. He fought the Hittites at the famous Battle of Kadesh and signed the world's first known peace treaty. His reign saw the construction of magnificent temples like Abu Simbel and the Ramesseum, monuments designed to immortalize his name and power forever. During the New Kingdom, the pharaohs stopped building pyramids and instead chose to be buried in hidden, rock-cut tombs in a secluded valley across the Nile from Thebes, the Valley of the Kings. It was here that the famous tomb of Tutankhamun would later be discovered. The story of ancient Egypt is a grand epic, a cycle of unity and chaos, of triumph and decline, all centered around the lifeblood of the Nile. From the unification under Nama to the pyramid builders of the Old Kingdom, the cultural renaissance of the Middle Kingdom, and the imperial might of the New Kingdom, this civilization shaped the world in ways we are still discovering. Their innovations in writing, mathematics, medicine, and architecture were centuries ahead of their time. Their complex religious beliefs and their obsession with the afterlife have captivated our imaginations for millennia. The world of the pharaohs may be long gone, but its legacy is immortal. It lives on in the silent gaze of the Sphinx, in the towering temples of Karnak and Luxor, and in the golden treasures that still emerge from the desert sands. The story of the Nile is a story of human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring quest for eternity. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through ancient Egypt. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more deep dives into the civilizations that shaped our past. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time.